Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Lazy Cat Reactions. I do hope that you enjoyed my first reaction to Interview with the Vampire. I know I have enjoyed the first episode and I'm quite intrigued on this show and where it's going to go. I believe I said in the last video that I really liked Jacob Anderson, the guy who plays Louis, and I was trying to figure out about him because I knew I had seen him and I really like his energy. Well, I said I was going to look him up. I looked him up. And I know him from Doctor Who. So if any of you are Whovians, that's Vinder. And if any of you are not Whovians, that's Vinder from Doctor Who. So that would explain why I recognized him. I think why I was like, oh, I really like his energy and stuff like that, because somehow my subconscious was recognizing him as Vinder. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool. So yeah, Vinder from Doctor Who. Like I said, so far I am loving what they're doing. You know, I'm loving that it's basically set right now like in 1910, and the costumes and the cinematography and everything, and learning a bit about the story. You know, with each video, you guys are allowed to talk about what happened in that episode or the ones previous. You know, we can have a discussion if there's some stuff that people have different opinions on. Let's go ahead and share it. You know, why not? But this episode is titled, "And the Phantoms of Your Former Self. Louis learns vampire rules from Lestat." So, he's going to learn about, you know, having to drink blood, the sun, and stuff like that. And I know, like, when we were seeing some of the previews from the end of the first episode, they were showing a lot of stuff that, you know, with them being vampires, with meeting Claudia, because I think Claudia, from what I remember of the 94 movie, Claudia was kind of created to be kind of like a daughter. And so, we'll see. I did also find out, because I looked on their Instagram, that Interview with the Vampire does have a second season coming. So that's pretty cool. Yay for Vinder. And my husband was looking at like the cast list, and he noticed that Armand was not listed. And of course, Armand, I know him as Antonio Banderas from the 94 movie. So I said that he's probably going to be in the second season. Maybe they just wanted to get something else established with this, and then he'll come out for season 2. That's my guess. Anyways, I've talked long enough. I'm going to go ahead and start "And the Phantoms of My Former Self." And I'm really happy you're here with me. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Let's get started.
Don't do that here.
It was heartbreaking that his brother just did that. After the phantoms of your former self.
I mean, is it only work, or are you and he?
I serve a god.
Oh.
It is my honor to serve. Mr. Depois-Dulac will join you at course 7.
7? I mean, how many courses are there?
Course 7.
Fattening me up for the inevitable end?
And they're in face masks. Jesus. Virtue signal much? In the 94 film, Louis said that he was quite fond of crucifixes. So this is probably one where Christ in a church doesn't bother me. Here's the bliss.
Star's blood was giggling inside me.
Yeah, now he has more senses. He can sense things that he didn't sense before.
Follow my voice. Desperate to feed.
I like all the candles on the table. That's
So
nice.
I'm taking my daughter to
Nice and
the
classy.
this Palominios. You know those Indian hives that run free out west. And I gotta tell you, I'm doing pretty good for myself. You know, some new century, new jobs.
He looks like he's gonna fall asleep.
The thought of getting her one of these special horse. We go down to the fairground. She says, "Daddy, why is that horse walking so funny? Why is this?"
He's looking back at the sailor. I was gonna say, what does it matter? Blood is blood.
That's why your daddy sells tractors. International Harvester Farm.
International Harvester.
I come in handy. I am talking about gas-powered, open-geared.
Yeah, see, once they get him alone, like in an alley or at the house or something, then they can attack. And then they're not making a scene.
Just to be clear here, gents, we sleep. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, that's not, I was gonna say, that's not gonna work. I like how you see him go pale. They did that, of course, with Louis when he was first bit. You saw him go a bit pale, you know, and you saw it with that guy there. So I like how they do that, because obviously if you're sucking the blood out, yeah, it goes pale. But International Harvester, that was pretty much, I think, founded around here in the Midwest. I know we have a credit union that's IH Mississippi Valley, which is International Harvester. So that's kind of funny. When he said tractors, I was wondering if it was going to be John Deere, but it's IH. John Deere, I don't think was around just then, but IH was. So that's pretty funny. But I like how Louis was like, sugar, and the guy's kind of like, yeah, he was getting a little concerned there. Not that you can blame him. Yeah. A dairy would work. Dairy is good for burn. When you eat spicy stuff, you should actually have milk. Do you go back? Yeah, probably would have been a good idea.
Oh, yes.
He's got a lot of swagger. But then I guess Lestat would, because he's very confident and he's been around a long time, so. So he just stripped naked. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because they've already slept together, but I'm just like, okay.
It's okay. You can be on top. Is it healing properly? You might need a proper doctor. Yeah, I'm just fine. Let me know if you need a doctor.
Considering he knows the doctor from Dr. Who.
The demon has to fix it up for the algorithm. We'll manage it. And you gonna sit
So
on
that's
that
not a Twilight thing. Anne Rice did that.
You gonna make me beg?
Or did she? Was that actually in the book? I still like that suit that Louis is wearing.
David Haskins, my last meal. Just go home. Hold up. Wait, I saw a little flash just now in his house.
Yes.
Sex.
You're not one of them anymore, Fletchling. You chase after phantoms of your former self. I'll break you up.
Name of the episode. So the whole mind reading thing, is that actually Anne Rice? Because, I haven't read the books. I would assume so, because she is, I know, one of the producers here. But of course, some things are going to be embellished for the series, just like they would have been for the movie. So let me know down in the comments if that was something that Anne Rice did actually have in the book and not a Twilight thing. It's not funny. And it makes sense, in a way that they would be able to read people's minds, because then they can kind of choose. And, I think to myself, like, what does it matter? Blood is blood. But that's not exactly true. And what would happen if they chewed on someone who had a disease, Maybe they had some sort of cancer or blood cancer. And obviously they're vampires, they're already dead. So it doesn't really matter if they would chew on someone like that. But does that affect them? I know Spike in Buffy had said that he noshed on a flower child. I spent the next hour watching my hand move. They had just eaten mushrooms or something. So, yeah, I spent the next hour being high, or 30 minutes, whatever it was. And so it makes me wonder if they do kind of take those on. So if they do nosh on someone who was, say, a hippie and had drugs in their system, does that translate? And maybe we'll find out. And if it does translate, then is it more intense, less intense? I would think more. But then at the same time, it's also like, if they wanted that to be their forte, where they only noshed on druggies, hey, they're not going to die, so they can't really overdose. And if they do overdose, again, they're not going to die because they're already dead. So, yeah, interesting so far. I don't know if I like Louis and the interviewer. They're kind of like trading quips and everything. I'm like, no. I have a feeling at the end of the season 1, that guy gets chewed on. But maybe not, because if they are going to make a second season, then they might need that. Either that or they bring in a new interviewer.
Existence. I felt it was essential to maintain ties. But
Can they still eat?
More difficult.
The curtain goes up at 8.
You remember the
She's
start?
still being a bitch?
Madame de Pontelac, all the kindness for the invitation.
You seen Grace about?
Like, how did he know I was thinking about his eyes?
You see my alligator, man? I lost it by a punch bowl.
Oh, it's too long.
Oh, shit.
Wait.
2 heartbeats.
Oh my. You making me an uncle out here?
Who told you?
Who told me?
It was
Tell by
Becky.
the
I
look
ain't
on
found
your
no
face.
long as you told me 1 and 1. And what? You had,
So I'm seeing that Stephanie Meyer took some stuff from Anne Rice, the changing of eye color for the vampires.
I got you something.
Ain't the business paying you well?
That's the nice thing about being a vampire, is you probably are rich because you've been around so
Must be
long.
good if this here's extra.
I stopped hearing it. Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Subject, verb, agreement, sir. Smile, nod. Yes, sir. They all came from the same organ inside me. I was something else. I had power.
God.
Decades of rage to process, and it was both random and unfortunate the man picked that night to dabble in fuckery. If not him, would have been the next one.
You are a library of confusion.
You don't get about America to start.
Yes, let's have this conversation again.
Color. White Ox. It sounded a little like slave. Well, that's what it fucking sound like. It's what it feel like sometimes.
Gary Sale comes around again.
Fuck you. What the bet for Tossi?
Dude, that's Vinder. You're not going to win against Vinder. It's too bad he ruined that suit. That was a sharp looking suit. The guy calling him the Negro. I like how he says he had like decades of rage or something. And I'm thinking, well, you've got centuries to process that. You know, at least with it being set like in 1910 and stuff, even though things were still going to be tough, at least they aren't slaves then. At least they are free. And we're not really going to get into that. You know, we're not really going to get political here. So if there are any strong opinions or whatnot, just keep them to yourself. You know, we don't need to start any arguments on anything. You know, we're just here to enjoy the show. But yeah, you know, it's kind of funny that he commented about the glasses that his mother didn't speak of, and of course is probably wondering, how did he know? And it's like, oh, just wait, you'll find out. It does make me wonder if there are people out there who are actually vampires, you know? I know we all have these fantasies about, you know, when we say vampires don't exist, yet we see stories of them, and I'm like, well, what if they do? What if these stories developed over time because they've been around for centuries and somehow they've managed to work their way into culture? Be interesting to find out at some point, you know?
I don't like sleeping angry.
Did you eat the baby?
He's
not going
wild
to
one
eat
this
the baby.
The other two, the twins, Lord help us.
Jeez. Got 3 of them now? Twins and then that one? It'll be okay. Yeah, just keep the thought that that's your nephew.
Some Y2K disagreement? I want our readers to understand that. Okay. Did you eat the baby? The baby.
No, he doesn't eat the baby. He's not going to eat the baby. That would cause way too much outrage. Could be right, though, about the scamdemic. Yep, totally left the baby. At least he got out of there. You know, he said he was a master of restraint, and obviously he showed it because he left the baby. I knew he wasn't going to eat it. It would have been way too much outrage if he had. And that other guy, it was like he said he didn't kill, but obviously he still has a snack. It's kind of funny how you've been watching with the meals, you know, the 7 or 8 course meal that the interviewer is having, and then Louis, you know, starting with the bag of blood and then moving to the animal and then moving to that dude. And I'm like, okay, so is there something else? So it's like he's been having, at least as of right now, a 3 course meal, all different types of blood. I mean, at least the blood in the bag is still human blood, you know, even if it isn't exactly fresh because it's been in the blood bag, although I'm sure it was probably blood from that day or whatnot, but still. So that's kind of fun. And that's cool, though, that he was able to create a big business. You know, he said in those 5 years he made a shit ton of cash, which is great, you know, good for him. That's what I'm saying, like, vampires, you know, pretty much like all vampires, well, I say all, are loaded because over the years, over the decades or centuries, you know, they've been able to acquire money. And I'm thinking, yeah, you probably would if you had centuries to do it. You probably would end up being pretty wealthy. Your loved ones eventually die.
The touring production of Don Pasquale was a cheap affair.
Yeah, you know, you'd meet other people
But
and
the soprano
everything,
was
but
everything Lestat said she would be.
yeah, I can understand being lonely.
And music. That was where Lestat separated man from food.
He's smiling. He likes how
Music pierced
Lestat's
his
so into
damn
it.
soul. And any humans who were involved in the creation of it existed on an elevated plane in his eyes. I was moved, unamused.
Poor guy.
I don't understand how someone like that can make it onto a stage. I understand they're a rogue company, but they pull in talent from outside gas stations.
Yeah, I'll turn his gonna die.
We need only one thing.
Yeah, he did.
The hunt was on.
He did. Yep.
I stood in the lobby bar, nursing my complicity.
You know, it's funny because I recorded these back in October and finally getting to watch them now in the
We
month
sat
of
the dinner down,
January.
opened up the score in front of him, and
So
sat
it's kind of
and
funny
drank.
going through the commercials because I'm
And you
seeing
could see
commercials
all the
for
doubts the young man
Christmas
had
and
about his
Halloween and stuff, and it's kind of funny watching that in January.
exposed on his nodding, agreeable face.
Qui,
He's got
qui.
him.
E dove è finita la tua voce? Sto parlando prematuramente il nostro povero Domenico Gaetano Marini. Come now. Let's get you to the couch tonight.
I was in denial. And bringing death. The Easter pageant in a mountain village. An afternoon with his father on
Poor
the
guy.
sea. Watching the fishing
'Cause he knows
boats
he's gonna
slowly
die.
encircle the school of two. Something about
Looks good. Like how, because I was just asking, so I guess he can have a human meal.
What does this taste like to you?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like almost all human food? Like paste? Chalk? Like soap?
This is the dessert I had after I proposed to my first wife, after I got my shit together. We were in Paris. Alice, half of her eyebrow was blonde, like a mutt. She always dyed it back to brown.
Done for the day. So he did kind of answer a question I had about eating. He says he does try to maintain some human food once a week. He says it tastes like paste, and I'm thinking, you would think with his other senses heightened, that food, the taste of food, would be heightened. But I guess not, because then he wouldn't need blood for nourishment if it was. So it kind of pales on human food. But yet, his hearing increases and his smell increases and everything. Which makes sense, you know, especially if you are an apex predator, as he called himself. Obviously, he got away from Lestat, and I'm guessing this is, I mean, this might just be one part of the book, because as I said, we apparently don't have Armand in this season, so I'm wondering if, like, the next season it's going to start going on to the Vampire Lestat, or if we're just going to have more from Interview with the Vampire. I don't know how much of the vampire books they took and put in the 94 version, because like I said, I have not read the books, but while I'm still pissed about the rabbit, it was a good episode. And you know, he was talking about how he was like no longer human. And again, that made me think of something that Edward said in Twilight. He said to Bella once, I may not be human, but I am a man. And I thought, yeah, that makes sense. You know, like, he might not still be human. He might lose some of his humanity. But at the end of the day, he is still a man and still has desires, you know, like sex and sport and stuff like that, which, of course, are what we have. So, I thought that was kind of a cool comment when he made it. So, he mentioned something about not being human, and it kind of made me think about it. Anyways, thank you for joining me for episode 2 of Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And let's talk in the comments regarding anything from the first 2 episodes. Again, no spoilers for anything coming. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you so choose. And support me on Buy Me a Coffee. Link is in the description. I know money's tight, so anything you can do would be great to help a gal out, and I will give you a shout out in a future video. I'm happy that we have a season 2, and I'm happy I finally figured out where I knew Jacob Anderson, because I knew him. I will make sure to see you guys for episode 3. Be good to yourselves. Have a great day.